Today on Sports Talk, we recap the swimming and diving season in McKinney ISD and let you know who from the McKinney schools won a gold medal at state. Hello and welcome to the show. I'm Tyler Sloan. We are also going to catch you up on some recent action in playoff basketball, how the soccer season has progressed, and as always, we'll reveal this week's Dennis Baker State Farm Scholar Athlete of the Week. It's time to dive in on Sports Talk. Now joined by McKinney North swimming and diving head coach Brenda Files, and we're talking about their swimming and diving season. It's a pretty successful season, especially on the boys' side, where a ton of your school records went down, and 8 in all.
Correct.
New records set by your team this year.
It was great to see. They trained pretty hard all year long. There was some competition for some relay spots, so it was really nice to see that we hit their taper, and they had some great races at districts and regionals and set some great records.
It especially is big for the team to have the relay records go down, because instead of just an individual, because sometimes you have schools that have one-star individual, but it's nice to have multiple guys on the team being able to set one of those team records that has a chance to stand for a while.
It should stand for a while. I have everybody coming back on our medley relay that set the record. We do have one sophomore on the team, so it was nice for him to get his name up there, that he can continue to look for it and train hard and hopefully get a few of his own by the time he's a senior.
You had one guy, swimmer Garrett Carson, that went on to the state meet and competed in 2 events. He finished first in the B final, so 9th place overall in the 200-yard IM. What was that race like for him? And he was so close to getting into the A final and then being able to win the B final.
He was a little nervous, I think, coming into the state meet. He's originally from Washington. He moved in this past year. It was a great move in for us. He swam well. He didn't swim as fast as his regional time. We weren't sure what he needed to do in order to qualify, and he just blew everybody out of the water at regionals. It was the best swim that we've seen in a while, and I'm sure he was a little nervous trying to come back, and it really just matched the same time as he went before. So, all you can do is get out there and swim as hard as you can and see how the 2 weeks between regionals and state held up, and we were a little short in that area, but it's a good experience.
And he also competed in that 100-yard butterfly event at state. And how different is it for a guy like Garrett, who's now swimming against people from all over the state that he hasn't seen before? Is there a little bit of an unknown factor when it comes to those state meets?
Really, for Garrett, he knows most of the people that he was swimming against. Frisco has such a strong district and region that he knew and competed throughout his club swim with a lot of those boys. So I don't think that was the main thing. I think it was just the difference of 2 weeks between regionals and state, trying to hold a taper, being able to go in excited and ready to compete. I think he was a little, he wasn't satisfied with his 100 butterfly at the championship, but again, it's a learning experience, and he'll use that for next year.
Yeah, that 2-week period between the regional and the state meet can kind of throw you off a little bit, because you're trying to stay on your peak performance level and keep sharp, but it's tough because you also want to maybe have a couple days off rest. How do you work on between, give and take with that? And does that help him maybe now for next year, learning how to tinker the schedule a little bit?
It helps us both for next year. We know that we probably don't have to rest him for districts. We can probably be 2 days rest going into regionals where he can still swim fast enough to qualify, and then we can fully rest him for state and really let him do well.
One of the other records that went down was in the diving. On the 1 meter, Alex Dobby set a new record for best point total in that event. How much are you going to miss him as he's a senior and then he'll be leaving?
He's really been our only diver the past 3 years, so he's going to be a big loss for us. We're hopefully going to be looking to find some new people that might want to give it a try. He's improved from his freshman year. He came in not knowing a single dive, and it's just been nice to see him shine and grow up and go on his dive club for a little bit in order to gain the experience he needed.
Zach Griffin also broke a couple records this year, and he's another guy that's going to be coming back for your team that has a chance to maybe set new personal best next year, and you certainly would expect him to.
Oh, definitely. He is such a hard worker. Anytime we're in the water, he's looking for the hardest set I can possibly give him. His teammates are, trying to make sure that he stays quiet because they understand if I give him a hard workout, their hard workout isn't too far behind. He's got a great drive and personality to be able to make it next year. I know that's his goal for next year.
Let's also talk about the girls' team, which they did not set any records like the boys' team did this year, but they still had several strong swimmers this year, and you have a loaded sophomore class on
Correct.
your team.
We have about 7 sophomores that I'm looking really forward to working with next year, that they've had 2 years experience now. They know what it's going to take. Depending on what our new district is, it's not going to be an easy walk if we're in the same district or if we, shift a little bit. But Sarah Linneberry and Tasha Blaskovich, our seniors, Sarah's our junior, they really led the team, and we really didn't get Sarah back until October, but she came on strong when she got back in the water. Tasha did great with the leadership for us. It'll be exciting to see how she goes on, and she's not necessarily going to swim, but she's going on to the Air Force. She got her appointment, so that's pretty proud for us to send her off there. That our sophomores are going to be great. We have a junior also, Z Milano, Z, what we call her by Z. She's very talented in many areas, and it'll be great to see what she can do next year.
I'm sure going into the Air Force for Tasha, that's going, all the swimming, conditioning, everything's going to really help her there.
I did. I just asked her today when she was coming in. I asked her what she was continuing to do now that our seniors don't necessarily have to come in and swim, that she's working on running, and her goal is to get up to about 10 miles where she can maintain a pretty good pace, and going to the gym 2-3 times a week. So it'll be interesting. I'm glad she's kept up the work where she knows she's got to maintain her shape.
Maybe triathlon in the future. She's got the swimming and work on the running.
It is the easiest thing for swimmers to make the transition to triathlons, that most triathletes are weak swimmers. So I have a few actually who have done triathletes in the past, and they definitely have the advantage when they're competing in those.
What are some of the things that you're looking forward to with next year's team, with the players on both sides that are coming back to swim for you?
The boys should be solid. We have 5 juniors, and the few freshmen that came in, they started on JV, and I pulled them up to varsity at the semester. They're getting stronger and getting more endurance. Our girls, our sophomores, are going to help establish. We have had some interest in the freshmen coming in when we had our little showcase at North. So it's really just going to be continuing to get them to work hard, try to convince them to swim over the summer as much as they can so they're ready to be able to come back and compete.
Yeah, coming back sharp. It's so important for swimming especially.
It is. They really dread somewhat thinking that they have to swim in the summer, but the minute I remind them about how hard it is to come back without having swam, they're starting to understand it, so hopefully that will be a reminder for them.
Yeah, keeping discipline over the summer, crucial for all teams.
Very hard.
Coach Files, thanks so much for joining us today
Thank
and
you very
talking
much.
about your team. McKinney North Swimming and Diving had a strong year this year and had 1 state swimmer. We'll look to have a couple more next year.